Alright, let's talk about commands and Gitz. It's going to be a little bit different from the other green skins because their army's a little bit different, but let's get into it. But first, I'd like to thank all my patrons, Baron of Dice, NY Barian. If you're interested in supporting the channel, my goal is to have 25 subscribers by the end of the summer. Let's get into it. Okay. Oh my god, sorry. Oh, look at this. Wow. Wow, Cruel Boys. Sorry, I missed all of this chat. I don't know why. I'm not ready for that's so strange. I'm not ready for a unit tier list yet. I am actually working on a video of how to win versus Nighthaunt. If you're a good Nighthaunt player, if you know what's up with Nighthaunt, I'd love your inputs. But first things first, we're talking about command points and Gitz. Oh, these are so tough. I'm finding that deciding on what command points to spend is one of the hardest things in the game right now. Okay, so first up we got Rally. So I think that Rally is probably going to be used a little bit more in Gloomspite Gitz than in everything else. But not in all the lists. Like if you're playing Trolls, I don't think that you're going to be really rallying at all. But, you know, like some of those big Trolls, you can heal the heroes with Rally as well. So, you know, if you need that extra heal just to make sure that a big Troll doesn't die so that it gets a chance to, you know, fight and then heal itself again or whatever, that's definitely going to be something that's going to be good. And Rally is something I think that you'll use with some of the smaller folks as well. Like be they, you know, one wound things like Stabas or Squigs. But like they get some bonuses to Rally, so if you are playing blocks of like Stabas or Shootas or whatever, I think Rally's going to be your friend. But for the most part, probably not a super important one in Gitz. I think Magical Intervention is a good command point to spend pretty much no matter what army you are, like casting spells in your opponent's phase and specifically summoning manifestations in your opponent's hero phase is going to be really strong. So Gitz always have had some pretty good casters and they continue to have good casters, so Magical Intervention is going to be pretty good. Redeploy, I do believe that Scragrot the Loon King, if I'm not mistaken, has the same kind of ability for Moon Clan units where if they redeploy within, I think we'll see, it might be within combat range of him, but if they redeploy close to him, right? Yeah, Moon Clan wholly within 12, then their redeploy counts as 4. This is a really powerful ability. Nothing comes to mind right now of what in Gloomspite Gitz can run and charge. I don't think anything just by itself can run and charge, so there's not that ability that you can use, right? Where you're like redeploying into a counter charge. But still, like a minimum of 4-inch move is going to be good. It's too bad it's Moon Clan because the Rock Guts would love this. But you know, there's lots of units that are Moon Clan, you know, that would love to get like a 4-inch minimum redeploy. It's a really powerful ability. It turns any charge, right, at a minimum into a 7-inch charge if you could do that. So if you have like a screen in front that's a unit of Stabas and then you redeploy them to a minimum of 4 backwards, well, you just turn that 3-inch charge into a 7-inch charge. So at the double, same thing. I don't think there's a ton of Gloomspite Gitz now that we can't run and charge. This ability is kind of not as impactful. This is of course with the Squigs no longer being able to run and charge while under the light of the Bad Moon, but instead, yeah, they get to do another thing instead. So, when needed to score tactics, likely. Covering fire, Gitz don't have a lot of good shooting, so we're going to ignore that. Probably won't come up too much. Counter charge is a scary one. I think all armies want to be able to at least threaten counter charge. As soon as your opponent knows that you can't counter charge, I think it changes the game pretty significantly. Now you can do what you used to do before, where you move up to 3.1 inches outside and then sit there and you're like, yep, on your turn you get to fight me, but not this turn. Forward to Victory, rerolling charges. This is one that you'll use when you have to, right? You're going to have a 4-inch charge, you're going to fluff it, so Forward to Victory it is. All Out Attack, a lot of Gitz units are hitting on force. Like if we were just to quickly go over and look at some of the better units. Let's see. Mangler Squig, everything's on 4s. Snowfang Riders, everything's on 4. Loon Smasher Fanatics, everything's on 4s. Shootas are on 4s, Stabbas are on 4s, Herds are on 4s, Loon Boss on Giant Cave Squigs, Hoppers are on 4s, Bowders are on 4s, Trog, ooh, look at that big old 3 in there. Daghold's on 4s, Trog Boss, like so many of our things are hitting on 4s. So all out attack is going to be a really good one. Nothing is coming to mind right now that you can give all out attack like somewhere else in the army except for the Bounders. The Bounders boss, where when he fights, he brings a unit of Bounders into fight with him, and they get +1 to hit, right? So that is really strong because you don't have to use all out attack because we are all out attack hungry pretty much everywhere else in the army. Like your Rock Guts in particular are gonna love all out attack. They don't need all out defense, right? Because they're already, you know, under the light of the bad moon on 3s with a 5-up board, and so they don't need that defense. But that all out attack they are going to love. Yeah, Gitz's spells are a little bit weak, but we all have endless spells and manifestations, right? So I do wish they had another spell though. I feel like you know, if we just look at the Gitz's spells, it's like Sneaky Distraction, they have to be wholly within 12, so that's a tough one for a backline caster. The Hand of Gork, good for a backline caster. And this one too, it's like they have to be 3 enemy units visible and within 12. Not great for a backline caster. Our spells are really incentivizing us to get into the fray, like to get into the fight. So this is good for like Gobblepalooza. This is good for the Loon Boss on Giant Cave Squig if he has Loon Touched, right? To be able to get into the fight and use these abilities. But thankfully our like Scragrot has Hands of the Bad Moon, and our backline casters have endless spells. But I do kind of feel like there's something missing here, right? It feels like there's something missing from the spell lore, but like it's fine. All Out Defense is one that we're probably not going to use a ton. Probably not going to use this on Rock Guts unless you really, really need them to stay alive. Could probably use this on some of our bigger Trogs, and it'll be fine on some of the other smaller things like the Squigs infantry and whatever, but I don't think that all out defense is going to be a really big one in Gitz. And then Power Through. Well, Power Through is a little bit tricky for us because we don't have a lot of models that have really high wound counts. And like it's not like Rock Guts aren't going to be doing a lot of charging. This might be good for a unit of Rock Guts because they're going to have a higher health characteristic most likely from what they're facing in the center of the board. So for them to be able to move their move characteristic, like it's going to be hard. It does not have to end the move in combat, but it can end the move in combat. So, I mean, I don't think that Power Through is going to be a big one. You might see it on like Trug or Dankholds, right? But the spiders aren't really getting play. So it's not going to be like Gitz don't really have like big monster flankers. Like all the monsters are relatively slow and tend to be in the center of the battlefield. Sorry for all you spider players out there, but it's just not worth, you're such a small audience, it's not worth even like really covering, and no one's really playing the big spiders, and I have no interest in the big spiders, so it doesn't really. So for those of you that play Gitz and play spiders, like, sorry, sorry, you'll use Power Through, I'm sure. So I mean, that's all of them, and there's, you know, so for Goomspike Gitz, it's like if I had to pick 4 that I was going to use like pretty regularly, All Out Attack is definitely going to be one of them. Magical Intervention is certainly going to be another one. Probably Redeploy, just moving on the table seems really good. And if I tied for the next ones, like those are the top 3, right? But besides that, like Rally's probably okay. All Out Defense is probably okay. And then Counter Charge is something that you wanted to keep up. Like if I was going to say like, hey, I have to spend on you have to choose only 3 or 4 commands and use them for the whole game, I would choose All Out Attack. Magical Intervention would certainly be my top 2, so there's 3 of my command points spent already, and then probably a Redeploy, and then maybe Counter Charge if I had to pick like 4 or 5. Did I see the list with 21 Rock Guts? Nope, but I believe it. What is that, 7 times 3? So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of Rock Guts. I mean, I believe that list is good. I believe that the list is good. Yeah, I believe that it wanted GT. It doesn't interest me. Like, I don't really have interest in lists like that if people are going to spam, like, units and stuff in a list. Well, I wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't go as far to say that I hate it, but I totally get the sentiment. It's like, it's boring. It's like, oh, your list is as many Rock Guts as you could fit into a list, hey? Yeah, why did you pick that? Oh, I picked it because Rock Guts are OP and I wanted to win. It's like, well, like, it's a boring list. It just doesn't interest me personally. You know, Other people are free to play what they like, but, you know, if that's the kind of player you are and you have a hard time finding people to play with, it's like, I wonder why. People also act differently at GTs. Yeah, Trogboff, Rockets. Yep, sounds about right. Yep, sounds about right. Okay, cool. So what do you think about the Gloomspike Gitz? The commands. Are these the commands that you're finding that you're using in Gloomspike Gitz? Is there something that I left out? Please let me know in the comments below. Come join the Discord. Lots of really great conversations going on there all the time about everything to do with greenskins. We have like 350 people now. Like it's quite a bumpin' little Discord we got going on now. Like, subscribe. Wow.